All right, guys. This is going to be a down and dirty crafting guide. Because things are changing so much, I'm not going to go into detail. I'm going to cover the high level stuff that you can make money with now, but you got to pay attention to because it's going to change, especially with it being Monday. We don't know the difference between the weekend, the event, and everything else. It all stacks and it could all fall apart just as quickly. But I think it's going to maintain simply because the event's still ongoing and ammo is only going to get harder to get, which means people are going to be more inclined to craft. So, start off Intel Center real quick. Not much has changed. VPXs are top craft if you have it. Otherwise, you can make a little bit of money with military flash drives and intelligence, though Intel has been on the way down. As you can see, we'll look here on the long term, just like we talked about. So don't hang on to it. If you craft it, sell it. Pretty straightforward and simple like that. If you can get 260, great. Just shoot for 105,000 on your flash drives, which I've been able to get them like sub 100 sometimes. You just got to buy them. If you see them under 100, buy like 8 of them, and then you're good for like a week of crafting, depending on your crafting skill. The laboratory, it's really straightforward and simple. Just do the fabrics. You can get PACAs for 29. We'll say 30K. It's like 29 change, but 30K to make it round from Ragman. Just turn those into Aramid and sell them for 40K. Again, I don't know if this is going to stay the way because of the weekend. We were seeing 40K before the weekend. But even if this slips down into like, let's say 30K, you're still going to do okay, right? You're not going to, it's not the best, but that's there. The next one is Ripstop. This one's a little bit more stable. In that mid 30s. It did spike up. I don't think it's going to do this again. I think this was just a Sunday night fluke because we're seeing that 38, 40K. I put 39 in here. And again, these are without my stuff. If I turn on my, I got to fix that because I've got max management now. If I turn on my deals, like look at the prices here. Look what you're making, like 120K an hour. That's insane. Cordura, same kind of deal. Easy craft, decent money. It's a little bit more volatile because there's not as many crafts. You don't craft 2 at a time and you just don't find it as much. So you'll see it do these huge runs into like the 50Ks. That might be what we're on right now. It might come back to like 30K, but it's still one of the best crafts. You can make a fortune with bleach, but it's a pain in the ass. I've got 18K plugged in here because I think this was just because of the weekend, but it is what it is. Now for the med station, golden stars, if you can get them on 110 and your ibuprofen's under 67. Now these go all over the place. These jump all the way up to like 90K and they're down to 45. If you can get them under 50, 60, great, buy them. If they start getting over 70K, go look for the barter. I don't have this open, so I'll do it. Let me do it here. Do this barter here. It's not this cheap, obviously, because those are more expensive, but if you're getting your ibuprofen for 20K and you can get blood sets aren't normally 15. They're usually around in like the 10s, 10 to 12. This here, as you can see, whoopsies, wrong number, puts you right around 70, 75K for the barter. So do that barter if you're pushing 75, 80K on the price of ibuprofen, and you can still do the craft just fine. Propitols. So I was selling these for like 50K, right? They've come back down, and I think they're going to, this is just because of the start of the event and the weekend. I think these are going to fall off a cliff, maybe not all the way back down to 30K. I plugged in 42 in here, but even at 35, you're making decent money. And this is using full price. If you're using your golden stars or ibuprofen a little bit, you just make that little bit more money. Meds will follow propitols. If propitols come down, golden stars will come down, meds will come down. It all comes down. So just make sure you're selling them as you craft them. Don't hang on to them. Pile of meds, great craft, especially if you can get augmentin. You can always see it under 20K. Try to snatch that once it drops underneath 20K. Buy up as many as you can, and then just craft, and then sell your meds for big stacks. I put 22K in here. That's on the low end. You can definitely push like 25, 30, which just makes that much more money. SJ6s are okay, but volatile again because of the weekend. CMSs, this is kind of a good craft. Med tools are a little all over the place, but if you're seeing them under basically 14K, buy them up. Buy a couple of them, because if you start getting into like 13,000 with the car med kits and your CMSs being where they're at, you're doing decent on the med station. And again, over the weekend, we saw this 45, 50K. I don't know if we'll see that again, but even at 50K, you're talking 27 an hour. And again, this is without my settings turned on. Once you click once you start applying crafting and hideout management, these really start to get a lot more valuable. You can do the same thing with AFACs. They're okay. Just make sure you're getting your IFACs off a fence, or taking ones out of raid that are like 50 or 100. And if you have the extra slots, and then you can turn those into AFACs. I screwed up here. Hang on. Crafts calculator. We were on med station nutrition unit. I'm just doing vodka and whiskey. You can do okay with coffee, but again, this is super volatile right now. Coffee was pushing like 50Ks again because of the gazelle barters, but I suspect we're going to see this down into the 40s. I plugged 47 in here just to talk about it, but if you start pushing into that 40s, you really start taking a bite out of your crafts or your profits. And the saving grace to this craft is it's fast. It's 27 minutes. So if that's what you're after, I'm just doing vodka and whiskey still. I've got enough money. I'm like 130 million rubles or some stupid thing. Yeah, and I'm just doing this to level up my hideout or my flea market rating to 150, which I think I'm pretty close. We're 144.54. I'm just so I can get my extra 2 slots. That's really, once I get there, I'll probably sell my extra Hololinks and stop crafting and crazy like this, just because it's a bunch of extra work and effort. And we've only got about a month left in the wipe. So for the water collector, same deal as always. Workbench. This is where it gets clever. Vogs are an absolute fortune right now. Let me turn off my stuff because that makes it look bigger than it is. But again, they're kind of volatile. Wait, no, they're not. Never mind. Check your work. Still make good money. They're 55K. They're not where they're at. But you got to push 35 to 40K on your sale, which is doable. It's not impossible. But again, that might just be because of the weekend. Gunpowder is where it's at. And it's because of the kind of circular relationship, right? Like if you're making green gunpowder, it's always going to be more expensive and it's really safe. Your price is fixed. And even if your green gunpowder goes down into, I have 49 plugged in here because it's not too hard to do that. And you can even get more. But let's say it tanks down to 40K. You're still making 30K an hour, right? So there's less risk involved with that. Red gunpowder, more risk, but more reward. Especially like if, let's say you take matches out of raid, right? And you're not selling them because the flea market fee isn't super high, but it's kind of high. But let's say you're getting matches down around 15K instead of 19K. Look what this does to the value of the craft. 7,000, 5,000 here, or 4,000 here buys you 7,000 there. And that's because of how fast the craft is. Especially with me, my craft, I think my craft is 20 minutes, 22 minutes. Yeah. So, pretty ridiculous. The sale isn't as important. It's about getting these components cheap. If you can snipe a bunch of them really cheap. I have 45 plugged in here. If you're getting them down into the 40s or anything like that, remember every 5K here buys you 10K an hour on the profit. Kites, I don't know what these are going to do. These kind of go all over the place. I have 30K plugged in. If you're getting them for 30K, you're doing really good because they're even pushing 35, 40, but it's there. Circuit boards, easy craft, DVDs at 20K. Even if you see circuit boards tank again, they're only going to tank down to like 20K instead of the 30. And with that, our profit goes to 32K. So you're still doing pretty good, even with those. Power cords and wires are good. Wires are, I don't know why these are up. I can never explain this. I don't know if it's because of like the rip ammo craft or what it is. But they do these run-ups on the weekends, and it might just be a product of people not looting them and selling them and more people buying them, so straight supply and demand. But you can even do better than 18K. I plugged 18 in here because it might fall off, or sorry, 19. But, you know, if you're talking 22K or more, you can see what it does to the profits there. We talked about green gunpowder. The gas analyzer, printed circuit board's okay. It's not great. I use my gas analyzers for grizzlies. You can make money with the blue gunpowder craft HP ammo because you're getting it for 72 rubles off of Jaeger. But it's, if you're getting 40K on your, let's say you get 40K for your kite gunpowder, you do start pushing better than some of these other crafts, but not by much. So I just usually stay away from that because it's a long craft too. But other than that, that's pretty much it for the workbench. And everything else, like I said, this is short because this stuff could change in a hurry. If we get a big change in the next couple of days, I'll do another one of these like on Wednesday or something, as we see the prices shift if we do because of the event. Or if another event happens, we'll look at doing some stuff on how you can make money so you can afford to pay for the stuff you need to do these events. Thank you guys. Again, as always, thank you for your support. It means the world to me. We're getting to the holiday season. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving if you celebrated it. Otherwise, we'll see you on stream.